idea the amount of ignorant mess we're about to get into right now.
Sit your $5 ass down before I make change.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Black on Black Cinema. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Micah.
Hey.
All right, guys, we're back. This is episode 189, Mangrove, which is episode 1 of Steve McQueen's anthology entitled Small Axe. This is on Amazon Prime, so if you have Amazon Prime, you can check this out. This episode is just going to be about Mangrove. The next full episode will be about episodes 2 and 3, and then the third episode will be episodes 4 and 5. So check those out in the future. Okay, so Mangrove. This is a review of Mangrove, by the way. Just apparently you still have to say that even now. So Mangrove is the historical drama film directed by Steve McQueen and co-written by him as well, which sort of follows the story of the Mangrove restaurant in West London in the 1971 trial of the Mangrove Nine. This is starring Letitia Wright, Shaun Parkes, Malachi Kirby, Rochenda Sandall, Alex Jennings, and Jack Lowden. Obviously, neither one of us saw this ahead of time. So, Micah, your thoughts on this?
So I went into this completely blind. I didn't know anything about Small Axe. I knew about it, but I didn't want to watch any trailers or anything because I had a feeling we would do this. And my wife saw the trailers, so she was really excited for it. So I was like, all right, I'll just wait till we end up doing these on Black Cinema. So I went in blind, and I just knew that Steve McQueen directed this movie. I think he directed all of them, right?
Yes.
And Steve McQueen is great. He is a filmmaker that is unafraid. He is unapologetic. He is very, I feel like the movies that he writes and directs come from a very, very genuine place. Mm-hmm. And it really shows on screen. This movie is great. I really enjoyed it. I didn't know it was going to be like some sort of like weird Law and Order, right? Like it's it's like a Law and Order episode. But I was pleasantly surprised because it broke the film up, which kept the pacing, pretty well. Performances are pretty great. I know Letitia Wright gets top billing, and that's because she is, the superstar actor. But Shaun Parkes is the standout.
Yeah, yes.
He does a tremendous job playing a guy who gets thrust into this situation and becomes something more. It's a story that you feel like is made up, right? But
yeah,
because it's kind of like a hero's journey, but no, this is dramatizing real life events. And to see him play a man trying to live his life and just gets thrown a bunch of adversity to the point where he's just like, I can't take it anymore. And something needs to be done. He does a tremendous job in this film. There were parts where filming was so intense for him that he would just break into tears at the end of the working day, because he was giving it his all.
Interesting.
And you can tell, man. Yeah, I really like this movie. Unfortunately, this movie is incredibly relevant today.
Still.
And
from 1968.
Right. From 1968, from another part of the world.
Right.
This movie hits home for Black Americans in a contemporary time. So yeah, this is amazing, man. I urge everyone to to watch it, even if you don't like, movies where you have to have a feeling. I urge you to go watch this, man, because we need to be reminded that. Well, I'll let this is from Letitia Wright, who this according to trivia on IMDb. Cast member Letitia Wright recalled that Steve McQueen said that he chose to tell this story because, quote, the window for our elders' stories to be told is closing, and we can't allow them to pass away and become our ancestors without them seeing themselves, their culture, and everything they've contributed to the country represented on screen. I mean, that's just beautiful.
Yeah, that's a very dope point. I like that.
Man.
He basically just said, give them their flowers while they're still here.
Yep. That's it, man.
That's what it is.
That's it. So yeah, this is amazing. And I it's one of the best films I've seen, all rolling year.
In the last 365 days.
Right.
Year to date. Yeah, look, I thought this was, I agree with you. I thought it was excellent. I think it's important to say here that the entire Small Axe anthology is all Black British stories, right? These are just different aspects of what it means to be Black in Britain, right? So I think that's important because it's not a perspective we've dug into before. Like when we announced that we were doing this, I saw several people who I know are Black Brits who are in our fan group were like, yes, something about us, finally. So yes, like this was perfect. A perfect representation to sort of kind of bring you into that world. And like when you watch it, you really realize, if you weren't aware, like it wasn't different for them, right? Like it's not like, oh, well, over there, they're so wildly different, so it was so much easier for them. No, I mean, like they didn't have, slavery for as long as obviously America did, but this sort of modern day racial issues all feel exactly the same. Like you said, on the other side of the world, the black experience is not different. Which is why it's always weird when people make arguments of like, oh, Daniel Kaluuya can't play this black person in America. I'm like, yeah, he can. Yeah, like he gets it. Like it's fine, right? Like him playing a Black Panther coming up soon. Like it's not a crazy leap.
This movie shows that there were British Black Panther members, right?
Like this is literally, they were literally like, hey, this is what the Black Panthers are doing in America. We're going to take those ideas. We've started the British Black Panthers and we're going to use those same ideas to fight for ourselves here. Right. You're right. I thought Shaun Parkes was really great. I really enjoyed him, quite a lot. I also liked, Malachi Kirby as, Darkest Howe. I thought he was very good. He had some of the sort of like great speeches and like sort of soliloquies of the film. I thought that were pretty powerful, especially in the courtroom scenes. Look, I think I liked Letitia Wright in Black Panther a lot. I thought she was funny and like, just a cool character, right? I liked her presence in that movie. Turns out she's a bit of a kook. And that's fine. I don't hold that too hard against her. But this performance, I see why they picked her for the role they picked her in the MCU. If they're planning to make that a much deeper and richer role, she's got that ability, because I had never seen her in anything else. Right? I liked her and it was fine. Right? Like I wasn't like, oh, I'm super positive or negative on her when she was cast. I was like, I don't know who the fuck this person is, right? But this performance in Mangrove is impressive. Like it is very impressive. I do think that Shaun Parkes, like he carries the weight of this movie on his back in a lot of ways, right? Just because he's the main character, right? Like he literally is, like you said, going through this sort of hero's journey, and it's really impressive to watch. but I don't sleep on her performance at all. I thought it was damn good. It does make me think like, all right, if you're gonna sort of possibly give her the heavy lifting in the Black Panther, area of the MCU, she could pull it off. Give her something to work with, because given a heavy script that's dense with like real character moments, she can handle it. Like, she was really, really good. I was quite impressed. I thought everyone was good. I just really enjoyed it. I mean, I'll say this. I mean, I hated him, but this guy Sam Sproul as Police Constable Frank Pulley was great. Like, as a piece of shit, like, he was really quite good. He was very convincing. He had that face. It was like, that guy's a racist.
Yeah, man.
Like, you don't even have to say nothing. Like, that guy's got a racist face. Like, he does.
I'm always leery of people who are really good at being racist. Like, come on, man.
Like, here's a script. I don't even need a script. I'm going off book. I got it. I brought material from home. Do you need an outfit? No, I'm good. I got it. But he was quite good, and he was a very good sort of visceral villain, right? Like, because you needed someone to really hate and to really despise every time he showed up, and I did. Like, I really had a visceral reaction to him.
He was comically accurate in his racism.
Yeah, it was just like, like, oh, you gotta nudge the blacks back into line, just like
there's a place for them, but sometimes they get up in here. You gotta nudge them back down to where they belong.
Yeah, I was like,
you motherfucker.
Yeah, he was a real piece of shit, but I enjoyed his performance. I thought it was quite good. So, yeah, I thought this was great. Like, if you haven't watched Mangrove, you should watch it. Like, it's excellent. So yeah, now we're gonna get into it.
We open with oh my god, I'm blanking. Frank Critchlow. Sorry. Wow. Shaun Parkes is Frank Critchlow. He is a Trinidadian who moved to London, and at this point he's been here for a while, and he sets up shop called the Mangrove Restaurant. The Mangrove ends up being a place where blacks from the area, I think it was Notting Hill.
Yeah, it is.
Where they they meet up, because it's it feels like a safe space, right? Yeah. That happens naturally, right? People generally gravitate to where they see more of themselves.
Right. By the way, Notting Hill is like the whitest place in all of Britain.
I mean, listen to the name,
right?
Notting Hill. Like, wasn't there a movie called Notting Hill starring white people being white?
Yeah, I like that movie. it's a romantic movie. It's got Hugh Grant in it. Look, man, I like Hugh Grant.
I like Hugh Grant now.
Yeah,
Hugh Grant back then was fine. I like Hugh Grant now.
Yeah, he's having a renaissance. Like, he really is. Yeah. But yeah, Notting Hill presented in that movie is the whitest place on earth. And it's like, are West Indians still there? Because I think they might have gotten knocked out. Like, they might have gotten run out of there. This is black as fuck in this movie. It's great.
And, we see this guy, he opens his restaurant, and he's basically just he wants to be left alone. He's living his life and wants to be left alone, basically. Like,
he doesn't want to be an activist. He doesn't want to cause any trouble. He ran a club before called the Rio, that was just like super wild, and he's like, I'm done with that. Just want to have this nice restaurant.
Yeah. I see a lot of myself in this character.
I figured you would.
Live my life, Yeah, I just want to live my life. I am all for activism and stuff like that, but like, that's just not me.
That's not you.
I will support you from afar, but I am not the one to be out on the front lines. I'm just leave me alone. Let me live my life. I really took a kinship with this character.
Yeah, and you're always talking about making multiple types of curry. Like, that's your thing. Constantly. Always with the mutton curry. Always.
We get a quick introduction of Darkus Howe, who was a British broadcaster, writer, and he basically fought for racial justice. Right. Just to establish who that is. And the first part of this film, we're not going to go through it like beat by beat by beat by beat by beat, but I want to just like touch on different highlights. Right.
Because there's a lot of heavy shit in this movie. Like,
this movie is very dense, and I don't, we'll be here for a very, very long time if we get too deep into the weeds.
Yeah, sure.
But I want to talk about because I really want people to watch it. But we can talk about the overarching, major points.
Sure.
One day, Frank gets a visit from Police Constable Pulley the Bully. And these two have a history, right? Like, Pulley is one of the cops that kind of busted the Rio, Frank's former establishment, right? And Pulley, like we said, is just a bastard, man. Like, he's just a piece of shit. Yeah. And he begins
a cop then
to and he's just harassing this dude, this shop owner, Frank. And the scenes between the two of them, like you feel it. Like, I don't know how Shaun Parkes didn't just haul off and just smack Sam Spurrell.
Maybe he did. Maybe it was a behind the scenes. Like, yo, look, sorry, man, my bad.
Right.
You got that face. I mean, look, so one of the things I think is important about like their interaction, it is this, like, Frank Pulley has this sort of mindset that by just being black and by being associated with like the black community, you are corrupt. Like, you are a person of interest to the police. Like, just by the nature of where you live, your skin color, like that, it is what it is. Like, it's the most abject racism, right? It just by the book racism. Some would say vintage racism. And that's important to understand, where Frank is this guy who's like, look, like you said, he is trying to do the right thing. He's like, I'm not interested in like having drugs at my restaurant. And by drugs, they just mean like weed. Illegal gambling, like none of that. I'm just trying to run a restaurant. And it's like, it's not my fault that, people were using it as a place to just hang out, right? Like, just being reasonable. What kind of sets the tone for where he was coming from and where he's going, it's like kind of right before you meet Pulley, interestingly enough, is like they're having the restaurants open and everybody is having a good time. And then they just start like playing music, and they've got, cause they're West Indians. They are big partiers, right? They just are like black people just having a good time. They got like people coming in playing the steel drum inside the restaurant. They're having a great time. And this party kind of spills from inside the restaurant to the outside. And I took note that the crowd isn't all just black West Indians, right? It is, you got like West Indian folks, you got white people in there, and everybody's just having a good time. And the reason why I took note of that is not for some like Green Book-esque reason, right? It's to show, or it's rather to point out, like, we will fuck with anybody as long as you fuck with us. Like, we are, as a community, almost the exact opposite of how white people are at least presented in the great world story, which is we're much more open. Like, are you cool? Everybody cool? You can come and hang out with us. It's fine. White people are like, I don't care how cool you are. Just stay away from us. Right? Like, it's a very weird dynamic. And I think sort of like those sort of like Caribbean cultures and stuff like that have a lot of that. Just like
they love,
the people the West Indians that I know, like, it's very similar to this, right? Like, I went to a house party and like literally like live drummers showed up. I was like, this is the craziest shit I've ever experienced. But they like the party, but they're like the people they roll with it's everybody. It's just like, if you're down, we're down with you. And like, I feel like that's an important thing to point out, because it wasn't like, fuck everyone else, just West Indians are allowed to be here. Like, it's not Frank's way at all. Like, and we definitely find that out later. Like, I was like, oh, okay, this is a thing. Like, they are a community for everybody. And in that, it pisses Pulley off, because he even says, like, you come to our country, you sleep with our women, which is like a huge issue for white racists. It's like, they hate the fact that white women sleep with black men. They hate it. They hate it to the fucking core of their being. So yeah. So then back to Pulley. It's a sort of a fascinating dynamic to then throw him into.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah. Like, and white people, TM, not you, Taylor, but like white people, as a monolith, they love to project that on us too. And when I say us, I mean non-white people, right? Like, they love to think that, they love to write blacks rule on their driveway.
Literally, no black person would ever write.
No black people would do that. Come on,
blacks rule.
Come on.
I mean, we do in fact rule, but like, I'm not right. Well, and I was thinking about some news I was reading the other day, and it was talking about like hate groups in like different parts of the country because what's happening in the news. And I looked up Maryland, because that's where we live, and the white hate groups are all white supremacist groups, right? It's like, when both groups get angry, they do the opposite of what they would normally do, right? In this scene, black people are like, hey, everybody, it's cool. Just bring everybody in. Who gives a shit? Everybody just have fun. When we get really angry and we're like, when some of us get on like a hate train, we become separatists. We don't want to deal with none of y'all, right? Yeah. White people go the other way. They're complete separatists normally, right? They want to keep everything segmented. But then when they go to a fucking far end for hate, they want to take over everything. It's fascinating in that way, right? Like, could we just maybe like deal with each other like normal human beings? But it is interesting that they will go, that it goes to show you what normal is and what extreme is, right? Like, but just culturally, black people, and it's not just West Indian black people, but black people in general are way more open. Like, they just are. And it's bizarre that through history, we are painted as like, oh, they just want to keep to themselves. Like, no, but we don't. It's just not true.
I wouldn't even say just black people. Like, look at what history has taught us about Native Americans. And,
right. They got screwed because they were being too nice.
Right. And look at our Latin cousins. You know what I mean? Like, they always about, hey, come in, get some fucking mofongo. Come get some mofongo. Right. They always talk about come on over. So,
right.
But yeah, man,
yeah, it's interesting.
I
think it's the weather.
Yeah.
I do. Like, that sounds.
Sunshine.
It's like
you go outside, you having a good time, man.
I mean, look. Go read books like Guns, Germs, and Steel, right? Like, where people started makes a difference in how they act. It does. If it's cold and you got to be like, oh, don't go outside and like keep to yourselves and shit. Yeah. Like, it's warm in the West Indies. What are you talking about? Let's drink some shit and have fun.
That's why those like weather and analogies work. When you're cold, you're standoffish. And when you're warm, you're welcoming and inviting. Like,
just saying. Y'all just mad because y'all cold. Just relax. If we just get white people a heating blanket, maybe they will take it easy. Send them down to the Caribbean for a couple of months. Just calm down. Yeah. So anyway, Frank Pulley, he's a piece of shit.
Frank Pulley's a piece of crap. We see a couple scenes of Letitia Wright's character. Her name is Althea Jones LeCointe.
Yeah.
And she is a member of the British Black Panthers. Insert Letitia Wright as a Black Panther MCU reference joke in there somewhere. And she's at a meeting with Darcus Howe, who at this point is in his like, activist mode.
Right.
and they're discussing like places that they could possibly meet. And the Mangrove comes up because the Mangrove is a place where it's like Black Cheers. You know, everybody comes in, everybody knows your name. You know what I mean? And,
who's Black?
Dorcas, you know what I'm saying?
He never pays his tab. What an asshole.
and you know, it's kind of it's the meeting place for the Black community.
Yeah. Let me push back, not on that point, but pull the story back just a hair. The first time that you meet Letitia Wright's character, she's actually talking to a bunch of looks like a bunch of Sikhs and Indians who, like, she's trying to talk to them about collective bargaining at their job, right? To basically support their union. Because she's been brought in because it's like, hey, you're the Black Panthers, you're pro-union and all this other shit and workers' rights. That's what she's doing, which I thought was a really clever way of pointing out, like, the Black Panthers were trying to help poor people. Like, that was a thing, to try to give poor people, they were socialists, right? And they were trying to get, like, workers' rights and things like that across the board. And I thought it was really fascinating for the first time you meet her and for her to be espousing sort of these Black Panther ideas. It is actually to other people of color, not just Black. Like, they reached out to everybody. Like, that's what they did, which is why they were murdered, because nobody's trying to have a bunch of poor people come together. Fuck that. Right? Like, yeah.
Right.
So
the Black Panthers weren't like the anti-white party.
No, they were not separatists.
Right. Like they
again, these are fantasies that are pushed on them by people who are actual separatists. Like,
exactly.
Like, it's yeah. Turns out projection from conservative whites hasn't really changed much.
So you know, they're talking about, hey, we should meet at the Mangrove, and people are like, oh, you know, Frank, he ain't down for the cause, man. He ain't trying to do all that. It's just like, but they got really good food over there, though.
Yeah, right. I mean, that was basically the argument. Like, all right, we're gonna go anyway.
We cut to the Mangrove, and you know, everybody's just eating, chilling, you know, doing what you do at a restaurant. And there's a raid. And one of the things that Steve McQueen does, especially in this first half of this movie, these raids, you really feel like they are anger inducing, man. Like they're
out of fucking nowhere.
Like they are not right. They're out of nowhere. It's scary, man. It's scary. And he does that in 12 Years a Slave. He films 12 Years a Slave like it's a horror movie. And these raids are essentially jump scares in this movie. Yeah. And he's one of the very, very few directors that treat racism like the horror that it should be treated as. Yeah. It's a perspective that I really don't know if white people get. I really don't know if you know, predominantly white producers or white writers or white directors try to tell stories about race. I don't think they get it.
No, I mean, like, you can, in fairness, how could they? Right? Like,
right.
They're only understanding it from, like, they're basing it on things that they've read or movies that they've watched. They don't know what it's like to sit in a restaurant and have somebody billy club the fucking desk or the table where you were sitting and then take you and throw you up against the wall and beat the shit out of you for nothing. Like, they don't, they can't, I mean, for better or for worse, they literally can't fathom what that's like. And sadly we can. But it is interesting. Yeah, you're right. Like, they do feel like it feels as much like a horror story to me, or like a horror moment. And I think a jump scare is a good way to describe it, as that scene of the riot in The Spook Who Sat by the Door, right? Like, that felt so visceral. I'm like, yo, are they just taping a riot? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it felt really, really real. And these feel very real because they literally come out of nowhere. It's just like characters having fun and just talking. And it's not like they don't, show the cops coming in from their perspective or something. It just boom, the door opens and they're in, and it lasts like that. Right.
Shit is it's scary, and it sends a chill up my spine, man.
Right.
Because this stuff happens, and it's been happening for no reason. Frank shows a little bit of he pulls out the aside sometime later after this raid for no reason, and he's basically like, I don't know if I want you guys meeting here, man. And they're like, hey man, like, you know, everybody loves this place, come on man, like let us do it. And Frank is just like, you know what, I mean, everybody, all right, we get it. And then we see a scene of everybody having a good time. He does this a lot in this film, man. Especially in this first part. Everybody's having a good time, you know, trying to, you know, wash their cares away to some steel drum music. And then we cut to this really cold looking office, and it's where the cops are, and they're playing a game, and someone loses the game, and it's like, wait, you know what you got to do now, don't ya? It's like, you gotta nick the first black guy you see in off the street. And he's like, what are you talking about? I think this guy's like an American or foreign or something.
Yeah, and he's new to the force, and he draws an ace of spades. So they're like, yeah, that means you got to get a black guy.
Yeah,
which is fucked up. But it's that cop mentality, right? It's how shitty cops draw in new cops to being shitty too. Like it, and you don't want to go against it because it's like, hey, these are your boys, right? These are the guys supposed to have your back. And so then the cycle,
quite literally, right? Like you could die if your partner doesn't like have your back. So, so these cops, they find, what is that kid's name? I think it starts with a K. They see him. They see a young black man just walking.
Kenny is his name. Yeah.
They see him walking, and they're like, "Oh, this is the guy. Like, grab him." And then we cut to a panicked Frank, a panicked Althea, and a panicked Kenny's mom. And they're like, my son has been missing for 6 hours. I want to file a missing person report. And the dick at the desk is just like, what? I don't know. Wuzzle? I don't know.
You're right. And he's like, that's not long enough to file a missing persons report.
Right. And you know, sure, he's giving them the business. And she's like, don't make me sick my vibranium gauntlets on you. They look like lions because black. and they're like, all right. And the mom, they go and they're like, all right, we'll bring him out. And the son comes out, and the son has been beaten up. And then these dicks are like, oh, it looks like he took a tumble. Yeah. And the mom does what any mother would do. Yeah. She flips out. She does this Tasmanian devil. It's just
start hitting that dude.
Yeah, yo. Let me tell you something, yo. Meanwhile, this smug bastard is sitting in a cut, sipping his tea, because that's what English people do.
Yo, she hauled up and threw something right at that dude immediately. Yeah, no, her response was 100% reasonable, in my opinion.
I might have died that day.
Yeah, no, if this was America, they probably would have been straight shot.
Because those aren't just a couple of cuts, man. Like those
they beat
are
the shit out of it.
Real bruises. They beat the brakes off that dude. And you know, they're trying to hold her down, and like, this is what I don't understand about the racist. What you see, you cut to a quick shot of Pulley, and he's like getting off on this.
Mm-hmm.
What about this is like, that's the disconnect, right? Like, I don't understand what the joy is of causing people this kind of stress, right?
I think if I had to guess, it's because they are small men, right? Like, you are a loser, and you get something out of treating people like garbage, right? I'm not going to say all cops, but I think there are a lot of cops who feel small, and it's a point of power. And if you're a racist, then it's an easy way to exert that power on people that you hate. Like, racism doesn't make any sense fundamentally, right? It just really doesn't. It doesn't fundamentally make any sense to draw massive conclusions about a person based on their skin color, across the board. That's insane. Like, that doesn't make any sense, right? Sure, people have similar, life experiences depending on where they grew up, but you can't just be like, well, they're all evil or they're all good. That's dumb. This doesn't make sense. So it's not a viewpoint of an intelligent person. It's not.
But it's also, I feel like it's also baked into human beings.
Well, I would say prejudices. Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
All right. I'll give you that.
Yeah. Like, racism is just like, this is the difference we're going to go with, right? Like, they just pick
better than you because of this one thing.
Right. People will always figure out ways to separate themselves. Always. Like, that's a human nature thing.
Yeah. Frank is depressed, and he's playing cards at the old man table, and Frank is just like, they call and they're like, you ain't got nothing else, Frank. And Frank is just like, take the Mangrove. I'll bet the Mangrove. I'll play you for it, because I don't know if I want it anymore. And all the people playing cards are like, yo, that place has been raided 3 times in 4 days. Nah, I don't want it neither.
Nah, you good. You won. Like, get out of here. That shit is kind of funny. They were like, no. Oh. Like, nah, you gonna carry this to term. Like, this is your baby. Get out of here. He's like, that Mangrove is the burden that you got to carry. Like, yeah. And just the old men are just like, ha ha ha, point at him and laugh because of racism. Like, hey, my fault, man. But they do, they do kind of feel sorry for him to a degree.
Yeah,
it's obvious.
They do. We get a couple scenes of a character that I don't think we've talked about yet. Barbara Beese, who was an activist, writer, and former Black Panther. And I believe she is in a relationship with Darkus, right?
Yeah, they have kids.
They have a child together. Who, much like my son, all of the genes went to one person. That child don't look nothing like her, and my child don't look nothing like me. Sad. And they have a bit of a not contentious relationship, but they are a couple, but they are stressed because of their careers and their jobs and what they're doing, and trying to balance being an activist, which is a full-time job, with being parents and trying to have a healthy relationship.
Yeah, they have a couple moments where they just like scream on each other. I was like, relax. But right. I see what y'all.
That's when my wife was like, "Oh, she's got a temper."
Yeah, because there's one time he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" And she's like, "Fuck you, nigga." I'm like, "God damn, like, take it easy, Jesus Christ." But there's a time she's like, "Hey, can you help with the baby?" He's like, "I'm working, goddamn it, I'm working. I'm trying to save Black people." And she's like, "All right, damn, I get it." Yeah, needless to say, they did not stay together.
Yeah,
but I get it.
At one point, we see Frank and a group of young men who sit down, and Frank has introduces them to. I suppose this guy is a lawyer.
He is, Mr. Stedman,
and he's and the lawyer is trying to explain to them what to do when the police stop you. Basically, like, don't say anything, but they don't quite get it, right? Because this conversation doesn't make sense, because it shouldn't have to exist, right?
Right, because he's like, don't say nothing, but make sure you say this, and they're just like, fuck out of here. This is stupid.
Right. Like, don't say anything, but say that you have a right to an attorney. It's like, well, you just told me not to say nothing. Like, which is it?
Right.
And they can't really wrap their heads around it because they're like, why do I have to have all these instructions when interacting with the police? But like,
if you want to live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get another damn raid. Yeah. People are having a good time. It's dark. It's nighttime this time. And you're banging, and people are like, "Oh, we're closed." And now the cops come in and they start, hemming up women and children. Yeah. And I think this is the one where Frank is like, telling Kenny, don't resist, don't, do what they say, don't try to fight them.
Right.
And it's sad, man. It really is.
Well, Frank Critchlow is a fascinating character because he is a black man put through the trials and tribulations of racism, and no matter how much you try to avoid it, you cannot. And there's a fork in the road in this story, which is, do you kind of roll over and take it, or do you fight? And it's like, that is a choice that every black person has to make at some point, right? Like, do you just, if you're especially if you're in a situation like this, right, where it's your life is literally being put in danger, and that's what makes him so compelling. That's what makes the story so compelling, is because you're watching him slowly drive on that road, and that fork is coming, and it's interesting, even though you probably could guess which way he goes just through history. It's still fascinating to watch. And that's why Shaun Parkes is such a revelation in this movie, because even as you're watching it, you're still intrigued by what his answer is, which direction he goes. And even up until the end, like, he's still leery after making the decision. So it's fascinating. But yeah, I feel sorry for the guy. I really do, because this guy's just like, yo, I'm just trying to start a restaurant. Like, that's the only thing I want to do. Like, Pulley is literally like, you don't serve anything, like, basically for white people. And he's like, yeah, we serve spicy food here. Sorry. Like, that's not my fucking problem.
Your bland boiled meat pies, that we don't serve that palate here.
Yeah, no. I'm like, fuck out of here. Though I like West Indian food, and I also like some British food. I'm not gonna lie. I love a meat pie. They're delicious.
I mean, when we went to London, we ate a bunch of food from like India, and like we ate a bunch of like non-white people food, because we. Oh no, it's the home of the colonizer, dude. They got great Indian food, because they fucking went and stole shit, like they just did. Yeah, we had some great Indian food when we were there. Yeah, it was amazing. But yeah, I just love that. Like, we only serve spicy cuisine here. Like, not for your bland ass. Get out of here. Though there's white people sitting in the restaurant, like, probably sweating, but they. I mean, look,
I fucks with this.
All you gotta do, just try it. Just try it.
It's got oxtail in it. Yeah, it's got oxtail in it. What has got in it? Extra gravy. It's fine. I fucks with
it. Frank is they're pulled out, and because what's his name had a warrant.
Pulley.
Pulley had a warrant. Skipping ahead a bit, a woman comes in and gives a donation to Frank, because this restaurant is it's becoming a pillar of the community. Right. Where you gonna get that curried mutton from in Notting Hill, right?
We'll stop over at the other. We'll stop over at the fish and chip place and see what they have.
I'm trying to.
I mean, that is an important scene, right? This woman is saying, like, look, I moved from Trinidad to Britain, and not until the Mangrove did I feel like I was home, right? Because this is my food, these are my people, and later in the movie, they make a point of saying like the restaurant doesn't belong to Frank anymore. The restaurant belongs to the people, right? And that's what this kind of is, right? This woman gives like, a Danish cookie tin worth of cash. Cause it's never
way more than I thought it was going to be.
Oh yeah. No, she had a fucking couple bucks in there. But the idea is that you were just standing and running this place, but this does belong to the West Indians of that area, which is, another fascinating statement, but it makes sense, right? Like what else are they supposed to do? They need to have their own home.
Frank is in a car with someone, and he sees black kid running. Tells the guy that he's with pull over. Sees Pulley searching this kid. This kid's name is Benson, and he sees him harassing this kid. And there's a little white girl there, and Frank tells her, little white girl, "Hey, go to the Mangrove. Tell people." Some shit is going down,
right?
And then Pulley, tries to pull his old cop car. You interfering with a police investigation, and I have a terrible British accent.
Yeah, that's hard.
And he saves this kid from God knows what.
Yeah,
right. Like Pulley seems like the type of piece of shit that'll plant something on somebody.
Yeah,
right.
Or just beat the shit out of him like he did the other kid.
Yeah.
For no reason.
I mean, hopefully not in broad daylight like that, but who knows, right?
That's how they roll.
Can't record it.
Right. It's 1968.
Right.
Ain't no CCTV cameras.
We cut to Frank having an incredibly frustrating conversation
with Darkus
on the phone.
Oh.
And he's like,
yeah.
It's like, this guy's harassing me, yo. It's like, proof? What the fuck? what proof do you need? He raided my place 8 times out of the last 9 days, nigga.
Yeah, because he's talking to like his local congressperson or like that kind of like alderman or something. I don't know, but yeah, he's like pretty pissed off, and they're like, "Well, if you could just send those complaints to the Home Office, that'd be great." He's just like, "Yo, fuck off." It's his local member of parliament. So, I just thought it is a funny conversation. It's just like,
it really is, but like, it's so like, you feel that this guy is at his wit's end.
Yeah.
And then look at Shaun Parkes' body language as he sits down and has that conversation with Darkus. Like, he's just beaten down, man.
Yeah.
And Darkus is trying to tell him, "Hey man, look, we're gonna do this protest. We'd like you to come because you are becoming a leader in this community, whether you like it or not."
Right.
And
how do you feel about that? That sort of that idea of just kind of drafting people into service.
I don't like conscription. I don't think that it's a good idea. All you can do at one point is to just keep saying, "Hey," just keep trying to convince people. But at the same time, you got to be careful in how you do it. Like because people have to come to these things on their own. Otherwise it's not real.
I feel like it's more powerful if you come to it on your own.
Yeah, because you will care more. Right. Like the person that you're trying to conscript will care more about it, and they will give it their all.
Right.
Whereas if you try to convince somebody to do something that they don't want to do at the first sign of adversity, they're gonna be like, "All right, well, I'm done."
Right. Yeah, and I think that's what ends up happening with Frank is like they keep trying. He's like, no, and then he gets to a point and he goes, "Okay, no, I have to do something. I have to choose.
I can't not do something."
Right. Like I have to choose this other lane at this fork in the road. Yeah.
Right. So he agrees to let the Mangrove be like a sort of a base of operations for a movement that's basically just like hands off black people. Like, just stop fucking with us. That's it.
That's it.
That's it, yo. That's it. That's literally the only thing black people want. Black people at this point, especially now, black people don't want a handout.
No.
We ain't getting them 40 acres and a mule. Like, we ain't getting that. We can barely get $600.
Right.
So no, we don't want that. I can't speak for all black people, but I'm speaking for all black people. We want to be left alone.
Yeah, for the most part.
Not be fucked with.
Yeah, that's it. And not in a separatist mentality. Like,
right. Like,
just leave us to our own devices, just like you do everyone else.
Right. If we need help, we expect you to do your job.
Right.
Right. Like, I'm not saying defund the police or whatever. I expect the police to do their job. If the police need to be at my beck and call, if I dial 911, that's their job. Right.
I pay for you, goddammit. Isn't that what white people yell when they get pulled over at a traffic stop? They just get out of the car. I pay my tax dollars pay for your job. God damn it. Why are you hitting me with a billy club? Relax.
But at the same time, right? Like, just leave me alone. Yeah.
I mean, I think that it's just this idea of, what was it like in, I Am Not Your Negro, right? Like in that documentary, he's basically like, I would love for you to just get out of the way of me and my children so that I can raise them in a world where they can just prosper, right? Like, get out of their way so that they can prosper and move forward. That's it. Like, why are you standing? You're standing in the doorway. Just move over to the left just a little bit so that we can just walk through. Like, that's all it is. We're not asking for extra. We're just asking to not be held down. And that's basically what's happening to Frank, right? Like, he's not asking for like special treatment, give me an extra loan or anything. No, can you just let me run my restaurant? That's all he wants to do. Run his reasonable business, make money, pay his taxes. That's it. It's not that hard.
That's it.
I do like, there is something that Darkus says to him that I thought was pretty interesting. After he gets off the phone, with his local member of parliament, that was an incredibly waste of his time. Darkus says, your strategy of relying on the white establishment will never work, right? You can't rely on white people to fix a problem that white people are perpetuating. Which I think is largely true in this regard. But overall in racism, black people can't fix racism.
Yeah, it's not our problem to fix. It's a very cynical viewpoint that I completely understand given the time period of this movie. But people who have that mentality now in 2021,
it doesn't really make sense.
No, it doesn't. And as much as I hate the term allies, we need white allies we need white people to get their house in order. Like, this is not our problem.
Right. Like, our house is fine if you would stop throwing fire on it.
Right.
Just let us have a house. White people, you have your house. Make sure all your crazy cousins don't get out there and throw fire on our house, and everyone will be fine. Like, that's it. That's it. It's actually not about us going there and talking to you about how not to be a piece of garbage. Just don't be a piece of garbage. The best people to talk to white people about being pieces of shit are other white people who are aware of it. Like, that's it. That's it. I can't convince you. I can't convince you that Black Lives Matter. A white person can convince a white person that. The black person can't. I matter. Right. Well, hold on a second. But yeah, like, you're not listening. So it's fine. I'm just going to keep doing my thing and ignoring what he would argue is the white establishment, right? But no, it's a matter of that is a thing for white people to fix. White people own racism in this country, and they have to fix it. They do. It is what it is. Sure, there are black people who are racist. Yeah, and we'll deal with them. But for the most part, if you guys got your shit together, those people wouldn't exist. Like, that's, I mean, no, it kind of fixes itself. If you stop fucking up, it's an autocorrect situation. Like it just is. Like black people be like, all right, whatever. Like, and we go back to, drinking liquor outside of a West Indian restaurant. That's all we want to do. That's all we want to do is be left alone. Come on. So if you just fix this, it's a trickle down situation. Unlike trickle down economics, it's actually real. So yeah, that's all you have to do.
And it's like that every part of the world.
Yes.
As this movie illustrates. So they basically have a rally and they decide, you know what? We're going to march down to that police station. We're going to call out Pulley by name.
Yeah. Oof. I mean, that's like, and basically like, that's like going down to me like, Bull Connor ain't shit. Like, okay. I mean, I agree. We'll see what happens. Right. Like it's a pretty tough move.
So,
to be applauded.
They call him out. They're chanting and they get up on the police, right? Like they get up in the police's face, right?
Oh yeah.
And the way it's shot, it's like it's shot at the camera is far enough away, but at a low enough angle where this crowd of people who are getting incredibly agitated because of what these cops have historically done to them and to the community that they live in. The camera is back enough where the two forces are right up on each other, but you don't see quite if someone from the crowd agitates a cop or vice versa.
Right.
But things begin to spiral out of control very quickly. And it's very subtle, like a lesser filmmaker would show like somebody throwing a Molotov cocktail or something, and then that would be like, okay.
Well, these are black people. You would throw a folding chair, like and then just a fight breaks.
But people are getting agitated, and the crowd is becoming the mass of both people is becoming a little too much to handle. You see our main characters literally being enveloped by it, like, hey, where are you? Like, while still trying to, do the chants and stuff. But it devolves.
Yeah, and they literally leave and walk down another street, and they are greeted by more cops. And again, it's getting right in their face, right? Like, and the cops start to like circle them at one point, and then the cops start pushing them, and they start pushing back at the cops, and rightfully so. And then it just it devolves into absolute madness, which is pretty scary.
Cops start calling people names. Look, I'm going to say something that might be controversial. And I don't even know if I truly believe what I'm about to say.
Okay.
But you gotta not let people calling you out your name trigger you so hard that you go berserk.
I get what you're saying. And
right. And it's weird. Because, like, if somebody called my son a nigger, I'm going berserk.
Right. Like, it's not like you're like, it doesn't faze me. No, it phases me.
It absolutely phases me.
Right.
But you gotta know who you're fighting. Right.
Yes, I would agree with that, because you have to be the point is they want you to forget where you are.
They want you to do something.
That's why
They're
they say
begging you to do something.
That's why they say
That's why they say it.
Yeah.
That is why they say it. And look, if you're on a schoolyard and somebody calls you a nignog, you can knock them up the fucking head. I don't give a fuck what you do.
I'm going to say something. Nignog is a hilarious term. Like, it is. It is. I'm sorry, Brits. It's hilarious. Look, nignog is funny. Jigaboo is a funny word. It just is. Is it acceptable? No, it's not acceptable. Of course.
No, of course not.
But I
said it because it's funny.
Right. In the pantheon of racial slurs towards black people, Nignog is pretty
I
funny.
mean, Nignog sounds like a Pokemon.
Yeah, like,
Nignog,
but
I choose you.
right, like black people in America are like nigger. You're like, God damn, it's like it's got the hard ER. It like it's visceral. It feels like oppression. Yeah, and over in Britain they're like, let's have some tea and a lovely nignog after we get done. You're like, wait, is that a dessert? No, it's a black fella. Oh, okay, got it.
You think because it sounds like eggnog? You know what I mean?
Right, it does. Yeah, what are you black British people complaining about? It can't be that bad over there. No, I'm obviously kidding. Relax before you send your emails.
No, we're playing.
But yeah, I mean, nignog is just it's a fucking funny term to me. But no, I agree with you. If you're in a schoolyard and someone calls you a nignog or some variation on that, no, you knock their fucking block
all
off.
bets are off, man.
Right, I get
all
that.
bets are off. But at the same time,
Yeah.
you gotta know who your enemy is.
Right, like,
You gotta
look,
know when you're literally outgunned. You know what I'm saying?
exactly. Now these cops don't have guns because Britain is
Right.
reasonable, but I'm still not trying to get Billy clubbed in the head. Like,
Right. Not trying to get I forgot my joke. God damn it. Anyway, keep going.
but yeah, that idea of like, it wouldn't matter if it was 2021 or 1968. If a cop calls me a nigger, I just got to eat that. Like, I'm not getting shot over that.
Yeah,
like, I'm mad. I'm super mad. I'm not like, yo, I'm a fist fight this dude. No.
Right. I'm not Terrence, yo. Like, I can't do that.
No.
By the way, if you've been wondering what Terrence is, some cop called him a nigger, and now he beat the shit out of him, and now Terrence is in jail.
Just tell people it's just complete lies. Damn, Terrence went to jail for beating up a cop. Like, that's how you start like a mythos about someone. You know, it's like wow, that is amazing.
But
Yeah, Terrence fought 5 cops to a standstill. He was just wearing a wife beater. It was amazing. Wife beater and jean shorts.
You're being ridiculous now. The key to lying is that you have to tell a very believable lie, right? Like,
I mean, I believe that.
Terrence went to jail for beating the shit out of one cop who called him a nigger.
Yeah.
And then that's and then you got to let the game of telephone
Make it worse.
naturally come, form itself too, until you get the legend of, nigger cop killer.
The legend of nigger Terrence. And we will do that movie on Black side, of course. Yeah, no, that's how it goes. Yeah, so I mean, they are trying to pressure them into reacting in a very specific way by calling them nignogs and all sorts of other fucking hateful shit. Okay, can you explain this part to me? And I don't know how to read it, so this is why I'm asking. During this, I would say a riot, but I would not say caused by the black people. I would say it was caused by the cops. During this cop riot, Darkus and Frank hide behind a dumpster. How did you read that? While everyone else is sort of like battling all of this shit. Literally, a white guy breaks Barbara Beese's sign and she starts fucking fighting that dude straight up, which
Yeah, look, first of all, don't mess with light-skinned people.
They got something to prove.
Because light-skinned people have especially because the light-skinned black person is, the more bitter they are. Because they get it from both ends, right?
Yeah, she even said that. Like, she grew up and she couldn't be adopted because she was told she was too negroid to be adopted.
Right.
She got a chip on her shoulder for every logical reason, and I get it. And she took it right out on that white dude. He was like, I'll break your sign. She was, I'm going to break your neck.
She got the chip the size of a rock of Gibraltar on her shoulder.
She was ready to rumble at any time. Like, later in the movie, when they're in the court, they're like, well, what happened with this guy? She was like, a guy came up and broke my sign. And, I was very upset about it. I was like, that's not exactly what happened. Like, I'm not mad at you, and I think you should go free. But, like, you was ready to fight that dude. Like, you did. She yoked that dude up immediately. I was like, just saying, they might have a case. Yeah, but she was ready. She was ready to fucking throw down immediately.
I think that the two guys realized that things got out of control. They didn't create this monster, but they realized like shit. I think this was like we got to figure something out. Like I didn't see it as an act of cowardice.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask, because I just couldn't figure out how to read that, and it's like they're not cowards, right? So it wasn't like they ran away or something like that. Like I thought that was what was happening.
I think they were trying to assess the next move. Like crap, like this is I thought we were just going to go and yell at some cops, and I didn't think that all of this would happen, but I think this was them trying to assess the situation and try to figure out what to do next.
Right.
And honestly, if it was a strategic retreat to not get arrested, to try and bail the people out who did get arrested, I could buy that too.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And then they raid what's his name's place again.
Yeah, the Mangrove.
Because this white guy really wants to have sex with this black man.
Yep.
Because he's got a hard on for him.
Yeah, no kidding. It's like relax, dude.
We cut to Barbara Beast and her incredibly black child.
Yeah, that kid is super dark, man. That shit is funny to me.
And she meets with a lawyer named Ian McDonald. And they are going to meet with the Mangrove Nine, the 9 people who got arrested in this melee, and the 9 of them are charged with riot and affray.
So a frame just means like basically starting a public fight.
Yeah. So this is at this point the film shifts to the order section of the Law and Order.
Right.
And they tell them that they're taking them to this famous courtroom, which has been reserved for the most diabolical of criminal, right?
Yeah, like terrorists.
This is where they send people who are like the worst murderers and terrorists.
The Old Bailey is what it was called, I think.
Yeah. Crimes against the state. That's where they send people.
Right.
And they're doing it for this, which is a clear message, of intimidation. Right. Mm-hmm.
But I think it also, like, it is intimidation, but I also think it's how the state sees black people, right? That you are performing a crime against the state to challenge police. You are, to challenge the system. How dare you? You're basically a terrorist. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's also telling to me. So yeah, it's a little nuts. It's a little nuts, but like challenging that sort of thing is, I can't imagine the level of balls it takes to do something.
I was about to say, man, like that's, man, the generation before us, man, part of me understands why they think that we're pieces of shit. Like, and don't, they didn't have their Xboxes and PlayStations, and they had to struggle, man. They really did. They have seen some shit.
Yeah, they have. I mean, just to clarify, most of them ain't do shit, right?
Yeah.
Most of them stayed home and was like,
yeah.
Martin, you got it? All right.
Right. Most of them are like me.
Right. Yeah. Like, don't feel too bad. Like, your parents are like, look what we had to do. I'm like, you wasn't out there. What are you talking about?
Right. You were sitting at home reading Green Lantern comic books. Get out of here.
Well, I hope Malcolm got this shit, because this book is fire. I ain't going out there. Yeah. So, I mean, it's much like this new generation, right? Like, you've got a lot of people who are just online activists, and then you got people out there fucking, like, fighting, like, for real. So,
Yeah.
every generation has it. Except for our generation. We were generally just pretty lazy.
Yeah, we were
Gen X, we were just like, we don't have the numbers. We're all very depressed.
right.
Like, what's my 401k doing? Like,
Right. If you didn't jump on that internet thing back when it was in its infancy,
yeah, you
I ain't worried about it. And now they're running the fucking world. So
yeah.
During this meeting with Ian McDonald and Mr. Croft, who is also another lawyer representing some of the folks, Darkus and Althea decide that they will represent themselves.
Yeah.
And Croft is like, what? You ain't a lawyer? And McDonald is like, actually, I think it's a really good idea. It's the perfect way to challenge the court's archaic setup and to speak your message, not your message delivered through me.
Right.
And that's something that I'm glad that this story tells, right? Because it prevents the lawyers from being white saviors.
Yes.
In the traditional sense, right? Like,
I mean, it's a true story. Like, this is what happened.
right. Like, this is these people taking back their agency, and they are like, no, this is our fight.
Yeah.
He is being what a true ally should be, right?
Yeah.
Just standing off to the side. I got you, using your privilege when it is necessary to speak up,
right?
On behalf, like, well, I mean, hey, I mean, you gonna do for him what you did for him, because
right.
White guy here, it's probably not right. They talk about this judge who is just like the meanest judge in the world, right? They gave him the meanest judge in the courtroom where Jack the Ripper was tried.
Like, come on, man. Good.
Just throwing adversity at him, right? Yep. And yeah, so they're like, all right, we're gonna represent ourselves, and because we're the smartest, and you guys,
they're the most learned.
You guys listen to counsel, and even then they had to, Darkus and Althea, they had to put in the work, right? Because they're not lawyers by trade.
Oh, and I like that McDonald is like, look, I'm just gonna help you with like the sort of legal shit. But besides that, like, you guys got it, which is dope. Like that's what an ally is supposed to do. You're absolutely
any other movie. Like, if this movie was made here or made by an American director, time to rewrite this bit.
These niggers aren't gonna be able to speak for themselves.
Right. Oh, this is now a story that is based on true events.
Right. Here comes Matt Damon to be the fucking the lawyer, save him in the end.
Right.
Thanks, Matt.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Nobody believes you're not a racist, Matt Damon. You're from Boston.
Yeah.
So we see the courthouse. There's a couple folks protesting. Judge looks out the window and says, I don't want nobody that's down there protesting to be able to get in this courtroom. How about that?
This is a shitty move because Letitia Wright's husband is one of the...
My wife is in there.
And they were like, sorry, bro. Can't sit here. All filled up. Like, it's fucked up. But yeah, he eventually gets in, I guess, like a couple days later. But yeah, it's just another one of the things. Like, the judge is not a weird character, but he is a character, right? He is a guy who is trying to uphold white supremacy, but he doesn't think that he is. He thinks he's just upholding British law. And then by the end, he kind of comes to realize what he's doing, but like a white person not being able to let go of reality, he both sides it.
Yeah.
At the end, which I was like, I want to push you off a balcony, but fine. However you get there is fine. But in the end, he both sides it, which is really, really classic.
It's weird because it's like you say, these people who study law, and then you like these Supreme Court justices, they're not just going to blindly go with, what someone says. They're going to try, and their judgments are going to be rooted in some sort of law.
They have
because they have their reputations that they've worked hard to build. And you're not going to throw it away to be somebody's puppet, right? Like people are like, oh, Amy Coney Barrett is going to be on and she's going to be in Trump's pocket. Like, no, there's a whole lot of other reasons that you should be leery of that woman.
Yeah,
but
her just being in Trump's pocket is not one of them.
Like, that's not one of them.
Yeah, spoiler alert. When they were like, hey, we're going to take the case to the Supreme Court, they were like, no. Where was she in his pocket? Oh, she wasn't. Like,
right.
No, once you're on the Supreme Court, you in nobody's pocket. That's the great thing about that job. I don't owe anybody shit.
Until the day I die.
Yeah. You know how hard it is to remove a Supreme Court justice? You have to have video of them being like, fuck everyone in this country. I want to put away people who are innocent. Like, that's what it would have to be on videotape. And they'd have to not be kidding.
Right. And not even videotape at this point, because you can be like, oh, deep fake.
Yeah.
Deep fake. That wasn't me.
It's got to be live. Right. Her renouncing her wish like in a shitty Wonder Woman sequel. Like, come on. It's just not going to happen.
Just another little dash of racism. The acting council is the people who are representing themselves introduce themselves as soon as they walk into the courtroom. Not the courtroom, the courthouse. And the white guard is like, I'm gonna need to see some ID, and I'm gonna have to pat you down because I don't believe that your monkey ass is a lawyer.
Yep.
And then McDonald coming downstairs looking like a fresh ass Austin Powers comes.
Yo, he looks ridiculous in that wig. He looks ridiculous.
And he's like, yeah, he's a counsel. Like, would you have to? Oh, you want to frisk me too? Because I'm a lawyer. And he's like, no, I don't need to frisk you because you're a lawyer. And I guess if you say that this nignog is a lawyer,
right,
and his gollywog associate,
right,
then fine, then I'll let them pass. Yes. But are you counsel, Angela Davis? No, all right, time to fill you up.
Let me check that afro. Got a weapon in there.
Yeah. So yeah, just another little. Like, don't forget what movie you in.
Yeah, a sousalt of racism, right?
So let's skip to the courtroom. The proceedings. Proceedings lasted 55 days.
Yes, they did.
Apparently.
Too long.
It's a very long time. And they put the Mangrove Nine I forget what they call it in the movie, but it's like a balcony, like a gallery.
Yeah.
Away from, everyone conducting business. Right. And these people look ridiculous in these wigs. It's a stupid tradition.
I love that is a thing that human beings are still doing. Like, you can stop doing that. Like, now we have to keep it. Like, you don't have to actually wear powdered wigs. This dude has got long hair under that wig. He looks insane. Everyone else, they're like, it matches where their hairline is. Right? Yeah. They're trying to make the shit look good. He's like, nah, I don't give a fuck. Fuck this. I was retired.
Nah. Yeah, see that lace front right there? Bam.
Yeah.
Like, all right, bro. I'm a sucker for a well scripted courtroom drama session.
100%.
And and everything, because it's there's something about smart people being smart at the thing that they are supposed to be smart at.
Yep.
And that's what all of this is.
Well,
I dig it.
And it's that sort of back and forth, right? Like, oh shit, like when they're gonna bring out that evidence that like really embarrasses the prosecution, like, oh, like, can you look through this little square, huh? 4 of y'all at the same time. You're like, oh, he got y'all. Like, I like shit like that. I mean, that's why A Few Good Men is one of my favorite movies of all time. Right? Like,
yeah, because you really have to you really have to show your acting chops, right? Because it's not, you can't hide it with looking good. You can't hide it with, physical feats, right? Like, no, it's people, it's just people sitting and standing and talking.
Yep. And
you got to pull it off. And when it's done well, like it is here, I dig it, man. I dig it. They try this Hail Mary play where they're like, we're going to try and get an all black jury.
Yeah, that's a Hail Mary. That's a Hail Mary in 2021. That's a Hail Mary. Are you kidding me?
And they were like, all right, well, if you think that black people aren't equal to white people, then the law says that they need to be tried by a jury of their equals, their peers.
Right. So, as stated from the Magna Carta.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, that's pretty old, dog. Like, that's what y'all go by. Which is a powerful moment. Of course, the judge is like, nah, because racism, I'm going to make it work the other way. Right. Like, yo, it says it in the... All right. Fuck you then. Yeah, I mean, they're basically arguing separate but equal, and then it's like, all right, cool, I'm gonna use your argument against you. They're like, nah, you can't use it against us. No, we get to use it against you. Like, nigga, fuck you. All right, god damn. Like, I thought that was like, I remember when I watched, I was like, all right, yo, fuck you, yo. Like, come on, like, that's ridiculous. Like, that's a good ass point that guy made. Like, come on. They were like, no, fuck you.
Oh man, like, all right, yo, piece of shit.
Yeah.
But then it was like, hey, black people, pretend this is a movie and just start talking at that motherfucker and get them annoyed and get them rattled. I still don't understand that play,
but it worked.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah, I didn't understand either. I was like, this niggas is gonna put y'all in contempt. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
That's all that is.
Take those damn hats off. Like, yeah, they were doing things to like irk the system and like to drive it and push it, to break it, right? Like that was the point. And they did pull it off, which is amazing.
Yeah, he said, one of the characters say, we got the judge, this fucking asshole judge, to acknowledge race in a courtroom, right? Because people like to pretend that race doesn't matter when it doesn't behoove them.
Yes, it's a very convenient selective blindness.
Yeah, especially when you're dealing with like lawyers, because they're just like, the law, precedent, blah. Like,
I told you, people can go back and listen to my the story of my wife and I adopting our daughter, right? That preview episode, and I talked about the lawyer asking me, "Oh, you don't have a problem if police come to your house, do you?" And I just stared at him for like 20 or 30 seconds, as he's a white guy. He knew exactly what he was asking. And it's like calling you a nignog in a crowd, right? Like, he's saying it to get a reaction out of me because he knows that if he can get me to seem angry, then they can win the case. Yep. And I was just like, I'm just going to stare at you until you get tired. And then I was like, I don't know what anyone would do. Yeah, you're not afraid of the police, are you? I'm like, nigga, this is Baltimore City. Did we just burn half the city down because of Freddie Gray? What the fuck? Like, it is me. I have a hard time holding my tongue when asked stupid questions. So I get banned from Facebook a lot. Like, right? So, yeah, but that's what that is, right? It is white people trying to pretend that certain shit is not real, right? Or trying to get your goat. So, yeah, you just have to learn sometimes you have to learn how to play the game.
Yeah, man. And that's what people don't understand, yo. And I can't I'm not saying that it's right that we have to play it,
No,
but we do. So get good at it.
Yeah. I believe that is what you video game nerds always talk about.
Get good. Right. Get good. GITGUD.
GUD, right, exactly. Like you have to. Otherwise the system will destroy you.
Yeah,
it
man.
will. And sometimes it'll destroy you anyway.
Yeah.
Even if you are good.
Proceedings, so we're gonna just touch upon like highlights of the courtroom scene. And here's a highlight. They get Pulley on the stand, and Dargis proceeds to make a fool out of him.
Yeah, he did. That shit was amazing.
Oh my God, I loved it. Like he was like, he mentioned one of Pulley's colleagues, Detective Inspector so and so.
Yeah,
it's like he came on after you, or just around the same time as you, huh? And he made it all the way to Detective Inspector. Him with John Luther, they both detective inspecting stuff, but you still a constable? What happened? Well, I was never really good at school, and I failed the test a few times.
I was like, oh shit. Like he might as well have done like the fucking cipher shit. Like he like just jumped back on his buddies. Oh, he got you, nigga. Like, oh, this dude failed the test. Like that shit was amazing. Like, he embarrassed him, and once he embarrassed him, and he embarrassed him for a reason, to rattle him. And once you rattle him, then you can go after him on other shit. It was smart. It was very smart.
Very smart, and then it worked. He was poking holes in his story.
Yep.
At one point during proceedings, they bring up another cop, and he was like, so where were you at? Where were you at looking out this hole? There were 4 of you in a police car looking out of a hole that's 2 inches by 8 inches.
Yeah.
What end were you at?
I mean, that was such a great moment, because he's like, no, just explain it. And they were like, no, I was looking out. It was like, so was the other guy like, you had your left eye and he had his right eye, and like, nah, like explain that shit. That was one of those like perfect legal drama moments where you're just like, yeah, good. Like,
yeah, man.
And he basically destroyed his credibility.
And then he was like, with the other cop was looking at PC Pulley, and PC Pulley was like giving him hand signals, and one of the black dudes was like, yo, this nigga eating beans.
Right, yeah. That shit was hilarious. He dimed him the fuck out. Yeah, I think it was Frank, right? Frank, or no, it was like,
no, it was a different guy.
The lighter dude who was like super Caribbean. Like that dude was super Caribbean. Fucking Shaun Paul over there.
Yeah, he was like, he giving them hand signals, yo.
That shit was, this nigga's eating beans, and then everyone laughed at me.
Oh shit!
Still thinking about those beans.
We find out that Althea is pregnant,
and she is doing it for her unborn child.
Yeah, because I mean, look, I don't need any more motivation to root for you now. I'm with you. I'm with you. At one point, Barbara Beast mentions she has an outburst because she's just like she's just they're asking like the prosecution is asking like nonsense questions to their witnesses,
right? Other cops who weren't even fucking like involved,
right, who weren't there, and she was just like, "What the fuck is the point of all of this?"
Yeah, she just loses it, dude.
Yo, she was at her wit's end. Yo.
I liked her freak out because you could see it coming a mile away. Yo, she was just like.
She got the shaky leg.
Yeah, she had the Jimmy leg. She was fucking ready to again. Some of those charges might not have been that crazy for her. She was ready to rumble, yo. Like I was like, oh, she about to lose it. She about to flip the fuck out. Like And the camera, this is Steve McQueen, like, at his best, right? The camera in this scene is so good. Everyone else is watching the trial. Frank is sitting next to her. He's not moving. He's just kind of looking depressed and looking down, right? And the camera is just panning around her. And you're watching this woman slowly but surely lose her shit. Like, she's moving, she's kind of gyrating. The camera goes from behind her all the way around, slowly around her, as she's flipping out, as she's quietly flipping out, until she just stands up, and because she cannot take it anymore. Everyone else is, for the most part, sitting still, or is just kind of going through the motions of like having to be there for 55 days. And she is just like fucking wired. It's also repetitious and irrelevant. Like, she's fucking, yeah, she is so fucking hyped. And she starts pointing at the cop. She's like, this has nothing to do with the case. It's a complete waste of time. Yeah, this officer had nothing to do with the case. Yeah, and she just starts riling up the rest of the Mangrove Nine, and they start chanting, this officer has nothing to do with the case. Again, like, really pissing off the judge. And meanwhile, McDonald, who's sitting below them, like, the judge is like, get your clients in order. McDonald's like, I can't hear you. I'm sorry, they're so loud. Because he's cool with them sort of disturbing the system.
Yeah.
You know, there's part of me that realizes what is familiar about this, right? This method. I don't know his name, so forgive me. I'm sure there are some people who do. My brother-in-law would be pissed at me right now for not knowing this. But in the debate world, like, there was a couple years ago, there were a couple black kids in the national debate world, right? There were a couple black kids who started making inroads and ended up winning like the national debate championship, this black team, because they would go in and they would wreck the debates and basically challenge the rules based off of racism to break the system to win, right? It's the same idea. Like, let's say you're debating on whether or not, like, I don't know, like, trickle down economics versus, another type of economics. They would come in and they would be like, this entire conversation is bullshit because racism has kept down black people from even participating in the conversation about economics. So your points are irrelevant, and they would basically destroy it and win, right? Like, you break the system fundamentally, and then people have to reassess and go back and try to and fix the system in order to actually debate. Like, it's fascinating, but it's the same sort of method they used. I don't remember the guy's name. It's like, he's like pretty famous in that world. But this was like just a couple of years ago, maybe like 10, 15 years ago, where they did this. So it feels like the same thing to me. But yeah, they just realize if you don't allow the white system to sort of establish itself, then when they're sort of back on their heels, that's when you can actually make progress. I mean, you even see this in America, right? If you play by their rules of not marching or, just sitting peacefully and just allowing things to happen, you'll get run over.
They'll keep pushing you. They'll keep pushing you, right? Like, right. People who get mad when, like, remember there were protests on freeways and people were like, I gotta get to work, right? But, like, no, the fact that you are inconvenient, I am being oppressed, and you are I am going to make you feel inconvenienced by it,
right?
Because that's what you do, man. Like, that's how you. If you do, why can't they just protest over there where quietly? I don't have to see it? Well, then what's the point, right?
Right, because you don't want to see it. That's the point, right? Like, they don't want to see it. I mean, shit, even Colin Kaepernick couldn't do that.
Right.
Like, you just don't want us to protest. But yes, the larger point here is, if you disturb and you wreck the system, that is how you make true change, right? Like, because then they go, oh shit, the niggers are going crazy. We got to figure out how to reconfigure this so they can't keep doing the thing that they've been doing. And every time they reconfigure it, it opens up it opens up new space for you to work, right? Every time, until eventually it's opened up enough that you can actually get some form of equality to happen. Like, it's fundamental, right?
And stuff like that doesn't happen overnight. Like, that's
No, it doesn't.
That's why people keep saying, keep marching, keep fighting.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens. Like, eventually you'll wear people down. And it's just like, all right, fine.
Yeah, it's the Steve Urkel method of the fight for equality.
You down, baby.
Right, like, that's what it is. And then this judge is like, I get it, Steve, I'll fuck you. It's fine. I don't want Stefan Urkel. It's fine.
So everybody gets up in arms. The judge is like, all right, we need to take a recess. The court officers are manhandle two of the Mangrove Nine. One of them is Frank. And they throw them in like a cell, like a one window cell, during the recess. And Frank is just repeatedly calling these courtroom officers skunt.
Yeah. I don't know what that means, but that feels feels like serious.
It feels like cunt is what it feels like. It feels like their version of cunt. They come back and they're like, Judge, I want you to know that my rights were violated and these court officers manhandled my ass. And the judge is like, all right, whatever, I'll deal with it later. And then this is where the ally comes in, right? It's like, Judge, you gonna do this? Come on, white guy to white guy. Like, this is wrong. And the judge is like, fine, I'll have the court officers replaced. Like,
are you happy now?
I guess this is the best I can do.
Yeah, you're correct, by the way. Skunt is a British derogatory phrase for your mother's cunt. The S in cunt form a new word, skunt.
There you go.
All right. I'll be using that. Thank you very much. It's a Guyanese, it's from Guyanese culture. All right.
There you go.
Cool, man. I love a good foreign insult to put that feather in my cap. All right. Skunt it is. You think that'll get picked up on Facebook? Huh.
No, I don't think so. Not in this country.
All right, I'll have to test.
If CUK doesn't get picked up by Facebook, because Deacon does that all the time. If that doesn't get picked up,
for cuck,
yeah, I don't think that'll.
Well, that's an actual company too. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oops.
That's fine. No, they do it on purpose. Like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a oversight in branding.
No, it's the Fuck brand. French Connection UK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a clothing brand.
Back to the film. Not to be outdone, Althea gets her chance to dunk on people.
I was just gonna say that's exactly what it is.
And that's exactly what she does with this doctor who claims that his study found that these black people, these bite marks are consistent with the bite marks of the typical gollywog.
These look like nig-nog marks to me. Really?
And she was like, well, how long how long would you say bite marks would last? It was like, well, no, she said, when did you file your report? It was like 4 days after the incident. It was like, well, 4 days. Well, how long do bite marks last on a person? It was like 4 hours. It's like, well, wait a minute. Are you trying to tell me? And she just proceeds to very calmly, very coolly just make this dummy look like an idiot. And she's just like, excuse me, could you say that for everyone to hear?
Yeah, a little louder for the people in the back.
A little louder for the people up there.
You're right. That dude was like, damn, they got me. Yeah. I love it. She was like, oh gosh, you're quiet. Yeah, she straight embarrassed embarrassed him, dude. That was great. That was great.
It was.
Yeah,
My wife
Dr.
was-
Chadi, get the fuck out of here.
My wife was fucking snapping and clapping, boy. Like, yeah, get him, girl.
Read him, drag him. That was great. Fuck that guy. Like, and that guy is an Indian guy. Don't coddle up to white supremacy, dude. It ain't gonna help you either. People of color have to learn that white supremacy will not save you. Why don't you ask Herman Cain? Right, he's dead.
Yeah. White supremacy. White people get you killed, man.
Yep.
So we come to another crossroads for Frank. Frank's lawyer, Mr. Croft, is telling him, look, it is in my professional opinion that you should plead guilty. You'll get 5 years, but it's better than getting 10, which is what I think you're going to get. And Althea's like, what? What'd you say now? What'd he say?
Yeah, she's ready to run up on him too, boy.
Right. And she gives this impassioned speech to Frank, telling him, look, man, this don't work if one of us bails. We're not just doing this for us. We are literally making history right now. Which has to be I wonder what that feeling is like, to be like the tip of the spear in terms of making history, right?
Yeah. That feels terrifying to me. That feels super terrible. Oh, I would be right out there. Dude, I don't know, man. Like, that shit could go left real fast. Like,
right.
Yeah, I'm not built for that. Like, I'm just not. I mean, I guess if it came down to it.
If push came to shove, I'd like to think that I would. But I'm not. But I'm gonna be like Frank, man. I'm gonna need a lot of convincing.
Hold on, now run it back. What are your plans again? But that idea of pleading guilty to something that you didn't do, I could not do that.
I could not do that.
I could not do
that. Do that, man.
No,
I just can't.
Like that, I would take the risk. I would have to roll the dice. Like, no, yo, I'm not going to get in front of the law and be like, yeah, I did something I didn't do. No.
Right. Because that's my, that's my name, yo.
Yeah.
Like, that's my name. That's my reputation. That's literally the one thing that you can't take away from me.
What's the dude from The Wire who takes over after the Barksdales are gone?
Oh yeah, that 25 Cent. He kind of looks like 50, but like a thinner.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but yeah, he has that line. He's like, "My name is my name," right? Like,
yeah, man.
Like it, and it is like I can't look at my wife and my kid in the face, and like the point is to have integrity, and your actions mean something, and your word means something. I'm not going to lie. I'm just not not about shit like that.
Right.
The Santa Claus
Especially
real?
a crime,
Yeah,
yo. A crime, nigga. A crime.
Yeah.
Nah, yo.
No, you did that shit. Nigga, no, I did not. Please believe me.
You got to find something. You got to do something.
Yeah. If I got to get up there and cry like a bitch, then I will. But I ain't do it. If I ain't do it, I ain't do it. Like, this just, it is what it is. If I did it, and you can't prove it, I ain't do it either. You need hard evidence. Beyond a reasonable doubt. That's how it works.
The next day they give closing statements. Well, we're fast forwarding a bit because we're running long.
Yeah, we find out Frank is banging a white woman. Side note.
Yeah. Frank is like, Frank is filming the worst episode of Blacked I've ever seen.
Yeah, he doesn't really see that.
He
gave her the old mutton curry, and then she was out.
Give her the old oxtail.
That's a very weird term.
Yeah, Andy's right. You gave her the old, and then a noun, a singular noun, and then that's it.
Yeah, it works.
It works. It works every time. We'll skip to closing arguments. I don't have the closing arguments verbatim, but I always love closing arguments
So
in
good.
courtroom dramas,
It's
man.
so good,
they're-
man. It's so good.
They're so good, man. And
Darkest's was fucking tremendous. His was
Yeah, man.
his was tremendous.
his was amazing. And the result of the case is that all 9 of them are found not guilty
Right.
of riot and affray. And that's we're pretty much at the end.
Yeah.
They give a couple of they Shaun Parkes finally is allowed to cry on camera.
Yeah.
And that was the mood. Like, that was so cathartic for me to see him like hear that verdict.
Yeah.
I loved it, man.
Yeah. And then they do something at the end which just breaks my heart, which is you see him go outside, he smokes a cigarette outside of his restaurant, smokes a cigarette, everything is good, goes back in, and then they give the and here's what happened later, and it's the Mangrove restaurant and Frank Critchlow continue to be harassed for a further 18 years.
Yeah.
18 years. In 1989, his name was finally cleared at the High Court. He accepted a settlement of £50,000, which was the highest sum ever paid in damages by the Metropolitan Police at the time. 18 more years of this shit, which is absolutely crazy. Yeah, he died in 2010, I believe. But nobody he faced 3 trials, by the way, and he was acquitted 3 different times, which is also nuts. But he never went back to Trinidad. He died in Britain. He ran the Mangrove until 2001 or something. And then they just closed for good. Which is kind of sad. I was excited to find out the Mangrove is still there, because I'd be the next time I go to Britain, I definitely want to go, right? That would be amazing, but it's not there anymore, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
So, that little piece of history is gone. But the idea of fighting after that for another 18 years is fucking nuts.
Yeah, man.
That's fucking nuts.
Goddamn.
But good for him to keep the fight going. I mean, I'm not sure I would be strong enough to do that.
Yeah.
I honestly don't. I don't think so. 18 more years?
18 more years,
No.
And he looks already stressed out. You know what I mean?
He's looking like a young Grady from just take it easy. No. But a tremendous film. It really was. If you have not watched Mangrove, you should do yourself a favor. It's excellent.
Yeah. Excellent movie.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to these other episodes.
Yes, absolutely. The next episode is entitled Lover's Rock. I have no idea what that's about. And then the episode after that, which everybody seems to be talking about, is Red, White, and Blue. That's the one starring John Boyega, about the police. So, so the next episode will be on those 2, and we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.
Bye. You're watching the Black on Black Cinema YouTube channel. Make sure you check out our full reviews of black movies, past and present. And every other week, we do a preview episode where we talk about a random topic that affects the black community.